Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. Today we'll be doing a double feature of a two-part movie, Wicked and Wicked for Good. In the land of Oz, Elphaba Thrupp, a green-skinned woman, drops off her disabled sister Nessa Rose at a magical school named Shiz. There they meet the most popular girl, Galinda. Over time, their differences bring them closer together towards their same goal of meeting the wizard. However, as fate would have it, Elphaba has used her powers to appear wicked to the people of Oz. Neither are as they appear on the outside, however, as ultimately, actions will determine who is wicked and who is good. I like to think of myself as somewhat of a connoisseur of some musical adaptations. I feel like with musical adaptations, you can do a lot with. You can make it more happy, more vibrant, more dark, whatever you want to do with a musical adaptation of any established property. But the thing that you need to understand is that you have to actually pay respect to the source material, but you got to reinterpret it in a new way for a new audience. It's not going to be the same cut and dry version as the original, but it's got to be just enough to entice theater fans as well. Wicked is one of the most established and famous musicals on Broadway. It has over 20 years legacy. It's been shown all from Broadway to Hollywood to Europe. The original book source material, which is also a spin-off of the original Wizard of Oz books, has somewhat of a divisive history because it's debatable whether it's canon or not. I like to think of it as its own separate universe, and that's the way I interpret it. When they said they were going to make a Wicked movie adaptation, I was kind of hesitant because from musical to adaptation has been kind of hit and miss, especially in the past several years. But then when they said they were going to split it into two movies, I was even more skeptical because the play itself, which I've seen before, it's only about 2.5 hours long. And so I'm thinking, how would you split that into two parts? The book has a lot of thickness to it, but it's also got a lot of darkness to it that I don't think they could really adapt proper. Surprisingly, I truly believe that Wicked and Wicked for Good is the perfect adaptation of this source material. It simultaneously pays respect to the original source material and somehow does something that I've almost never seen before. It gives its own ending while also having 3 versions at the same time. I'll get to that when I get a little later into the actual movie itself, and if I do get into spoilers, I'll give a little bit of a trigger warning. The casting was the biggest deal for me because there have been versions of Elphaba and versions of Galinda who don't have the right chemistry. Centered around 2 characters working off one another, the chemistry needs to click. And Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba and Ariana Grande's Galinda, surprisingly, work really, really well together. They have this great chemistry and they have this hesitancy where I've seen versions of Galinda where she's such an irredeemable bitch that you just don't care about her at all. You can have mean, but you have to have likably mean, if that makes any sense. Elphaba, I've seen adaptations of her where she's cold and bitter, which is understandable given the circumstances, but you need to have an engagement, at least a little bit, so you can feel empathy. I loved the way they did their characters. Their characters are the core central focus of this story, and they are the core central focus of these movies. Carries the weight of the story, and it keeps you invested. Some of the other cast I kind of have a little bit of a mixed opinion about. Specifically Bach, he wasn't likable. What made his tragic downfall more investing is that you kind of cared about him, and I didn't at all. Maybe that's just my personal taste. He felt too aw shucks, but not in a genuine way, more in everyone else is playing a story and he's following a different script kind of way. It just irked me. The addition of Galinda having these 2 assistants that follow her around to have this kind of sidekicky nature was irritating, but you kind of get used to it by a certain point. But they just felt kind of unnecessary. They would just occasionally pop in here and there. I think it was kind of an excuse for Ariana Grande to have two of her friends cast in a movie. I could be reading too much into that. I think the one that was kind of the most, not bad, but just kind of random casting choice was the casting of Michelle Yeoh as Miss Maribel, because she is, without a doubt, in the original story, a villain. Like, it's not even questionable that she's a villain. And I think in adaptations of the musical, she's so over the top as a villain, but I think with hers, it was too less than. But these are just minor nitpicks. But I think the one that really was the perfect casting was Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. I think he's such a likable actor and presence that even when he's telling you, hey, I'm a villain, I've enslaved this, I've done this, whatever, you kind of understand why he's so persuasive to people, because he's such a charming person. The issue I always had with the original Wizard of Oz is that this guy is supposed to be able to manipulate all of the people around him, but he doesn't come off as charming. He kind of just comes off as a swindler, which he is, but he's got to be a suave swindler. And it just, with Goldblum, yes, I can believe him being able to like entice people because he seems fine and kind and friendly, but obviously there's a deeper darkness to him. I thought that what made this adaptation so much better than almost any musical adaptation was it kept all of the key songs, kept all the key moments. It used its beautiful visuals, setting, designs. There was one or two parts where I was kind of like, okay, that was a little weird. But nothing major. And I feel like it's a movie that if you loved The Wizard of Oz, you will love. If you loved the musical, you'll also love. And if you love them both, then you'll truly, truly love these. Now, this is the only minor spoiler I will give, and it's not going to ruin the movie at all. I'm not going to give away anything. There are versions of endings of the story of Wicked. There's the book ending, which is morbid and just sad. There's the ending of the play, which is surprising and uplifting, but leaves you wanting more. And then the movie does something very different. It does, in a way, all three endings back to back. So you get the book ending, which is morbid, turned into uplifting, and then finally the final closing scene is that of hope, a hope of a future that we may never see. And I really love that because it truly shows the love and dedication to the source material, and it truly shows the love and appreciation from fans for fans, and it makes it almost timeless. Like, this feels like a movie. It's one movie, but it's split into two parts. In the same way I would see Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 as one movie. It's such a powerful movie that I feel like if you want to appreciate a movie that it doesn't just have so much to it, it also touches on subjects that are still current, resonant, and relevant today, but done in a fantastical way that's not so preachy. It's genuine. It's stuff that we see and experience, see to people we care about. It's not without merits, and it's done in a way that feels heartfelt, genuine, and as a way of teaching without being teachy or preachy. And I loved it for it. This movie is fantastic series of films. And I truly believe anyone in the right mindset with enough time will love these movies. For the visuals, for the music. It starts off sad, gets up, and leaves you wanting more. And that's what I feel a good musical could accomplish. And I feel like not just a musical, a film can accomplish so much more because it can capture things in a way that make them resonate for years to come. And this is one of those movies I feel can do it justice. I cannot recommend these movies enough. If you haven't seen them, I recommend getting them and adding them to your collection because I intend to do the same whenever they're put into a collector's set with all the behind the scenes. Because I do want to see stuff that maybe got cut on the cutting room floor, stuff that could have been added to the text, or what went behind the scenes. But that's me. But for everyone, I think it's really, truly worth your time. I give Wicked and Wicked for Good 5 out of 5. Have you seen Wicked and Wicked for Good? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to stab that subscribe button and slice that like button, and I'll see you next time.